All right. Hello, I'm Lee. Happy Sabbath. Going to be continuing study of the book of Psalms today. I've got some translations pulled up here. Starting at Psalms 13. The Brenton Septuagint, Psalms 13. The Thompson Septuagint. Let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah. The Samaritan Pentateuch for reference, the Blue Letter Bible, and Psalms 13 KJV. Also, Psalms 13 here. So you'll notice in the Dead Sea Scrolls translation here, it's got Yahweh. Well, if you look in our modern translation, it's got Lord. Brenton Septuagint, Psalm 13. So, hold on a second. Okay, so Psalms 13 in the KJV. And they've got the Dead Sea Scrolls arranged by the Masoretic text. So it looks like, or the Dead Sea Scrolls affirm the Masoretic text arrangement. The Septuagint has chapter 12 here, Lord, so that corresponds. And the Thompson Septuagint, let's see. It says, save me, O Lord. Let's see, 13 to be how long? Okay, so the Thompson Septuagint matches what the Masoretic says, so he probably adjusted his to match. But if you go here where it's got Lord in the Blue Letter Bible, you got a Lord here, Yehovah. So just go H3068. Okay, so translated as Lord 6,510 times, as God 4 times, Jehovah 4 times. Here's the key right here, unpronounced except with the vowel pointings. All right, so they don't pronounce the word, they pronounce the vowel pointings to come up with Lord, which is Jehovah. All right. It's replacement name theology. So if you want to find out what that is, kind of like replacement, the church replaces Israel, or the Jews replace Israel, replacement people theology, same thing. So he teaches the church replaced Israel. Wrong. If the church replaced Israel, it wouldn't have the 144,000, 12,000 from each tribe in the book of Revelation. It's wrong. If the name was supposed to be replaced, it wouldn't be found in the Dead Sea Scrolls kept by John the Baptist and Levites. That's wrong. So replacement name, or what do they call it? I can't remember what they call it. Replacement name. In 2008, the papacy issued an edict saying that you could not pronounce the divine name. You had to use Lord or God. There's a big red flag. Roman Catholic Church claims the Bible, but they are not his. And you'll see in the Paleo Hebrew that the name comes up as Yahuwah. This name, they'll translate this as a W, but this was not a W right here. This third letter over, 1, 2, 3. That's not a W. Let's go here. Yeah, so one Yod, Hey, Ua, Hey. W came later. That's why it's called double U. This is a U. Yahuwah, not Yahweh, Yahuwah. They'll translate it Yahweh. They'll translate it Lord, but it's not. It's Yahuwah. That being said, Psalm 13, how long, Yahuwah, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long shall I take counsel in my soul, having sorrow in my heart every day? How long shall my enemy triumph over me? Third verse. Got to go over here. How long shall I take counsel in my soul, having sorrows in my heart daily? How long shall my enemy be exalted over me? Okay, so they've combined 2 and 3. This in the Septuagint there. Look down, hearken to me. So the Thompson says, look down, hearken to me, O Yahuwah, my Elohim, enlighten mine eyes, that I may not sleep unto death. Lest my enemies say I have prevailed against him, lest my adversaries rejoice when I fall. So it'd be interesting to look at the manuscript and see if there's actually a break here, or they just put that there. Looks like there's a break there, so there would be room for verse 3. But you'd have to look at the original scroll to see. But I trust in your loving kindness. My heart rejoices in your salvation. So, but I have hoped in thy mercy, my heart shall exalt. I will sing to Yahuwah, who has dealt bountifully with me. I will sing psalms to the name of Yahuwah Most High. All right, so moving on over. Next chapter, chapter 14. The fool has said for the chief musician by David, the fool has said in his heart, there is no Elohim. They are corrupt. They have done abominable deeds. There is no one who does good. Yahuwah looked down from heaven on the children of men to see if there were any who understood, who sought after Yahuwah. They have all gone aside. They have together become corrupt. There is no one who does good, no, not one. Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge? And it's good to know what iniquity means. So if you go to Matthew 7:24, you go in here, 7:23. All right, so 7:23. See iniquity, G458, anomia. See iniquity, unrighteousness, transgress the law, transgression of the law. The condition of without law, because of ignorant of it, because of violating it. Contempt, that's when you say his commandments are done away with, or they were the law of sin and death, or they were not good. When they twist Paul, that's contempt for his law. And violation of law, iniquity, wickedness, lawlessness. So have all the workers of lawlessness no knowledge? Yes. Who eat up my people as they eat bread, and they don't call on Yahuwah. They don't call on Yahuwah. Who they call on? Jehovah, Yahweh, Lord, God. What do they call on him? I'm not bashing anybody that uses Yahweh, because that's how they translate it. And some people who use Lord and God don't realize that they're translating it that way either. So some people don't know, some people do. So they have no knowledge. The knowledge is our Father's ways. That's what knowledge is. Let's see. So see Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Okay. Then he goes on to give us the definition. What's lack of knowledge? Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. See, I will also forget thy children. Lack of knowledge, forgotten the law. That's knowledge. See, Paul tells you also, his law is knowledge. Romans 3:20, therefore by the deeds of the law there shall no flesh be justified in his sight. What's that mean? Well, the things it tells you in the law is sin. If you're doing them, then you're breaking the law, which is sin, which is by the deeds of the law. For by the law is the knowledge of sin. So see, they'll twist this verse, but they don't realize he's giving you the definition in the second half. The deeds of the law, by the law is the knowledge of sin. So if you're doing sin, you're not going to be justified in his sight, breaking the law. That's why you got to be very careful with what Paul said. And Peter gives us a warning. See. Bear in mind, 2 Peter 3, 15 through 17, bear in mind that Yahuwah's patience means salvation, just as our dear brother Paul also wrote to you of the wisdom that Yahuwah gave him. He writes the same way in all his letters, speaking in them of these matters. His letters contain some things that are hard to understand, which ignorant and unstable people distort, as they do the other scriptures, to their own destruction. Therefore, dear friends, since you have been forewarned, be on your guard so that you may not be carried away by the error of the lawless and fall from your secure position. And this is the NIV. Not a perfect translation, but I like some of the other translations because it says lawless. It tells you exactly what it is. When you go to the KJV, it does not say lawless. So then you're left trying to figure out, well, what's lawless? It'll say iniquity. So there they were in great fear, for Yahuwah is in the generation of the righteous. You frustrate the plan of the poor because Yahuwah is his refuge. So 7. Yahuwah is his hope. That's what the Brenton Septuagint renders it as. Who will bring the salvation of Israel out of Zion. When Yahuwah brings back the captivity of his people, let Jacob exult and Israel be glad. See? When he brings back the captivity, when the dispersion is over, Daniel 12 and the Septuagint, when the dispersion is over, they'll know all these things. And see, it's interesting. Oh, look, we get all the way up to there and it's missing from the Dead Sea Scroll. That happens a lot. Who's got control of the Dead Sea Scrolls? They're in the Rockefeller Museum. The Jesuits swooped in when the scrolls were found, 1950 or so. Yeah. Did they do something to them? When Yahuwah hath brought back the captives of his people, as Thompson Septuagint, let Jacob rejoice and let Israel be glad. Let's see, 13, 14 in the KJV. Oh, that salvation of Israel will come out of Zion. KJV, same thing. Bringing back the captivity of his people. Jacob shall rejoice and Israel shall be glad. So maybe that's not removed, but it's in the other translations. So it's all good. 15. Always keep an eye out for stuff like that. Like, why is that missing? It's okay to ask questions. So, Psalm 15, a psalm by David. Yahuwah, who shall dwell in your sanctuary, who shall live on your holy hill, New Jerusalem. He who walks blamelessly, does what is right, and speaks truth in his heart. Truth in his heart. His law is truth. He who doesn't do evil to his friend, so slander with his tongue, is not in there. He who doesn't do evil to his friend, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Ring a bell? That's also in Acts 15 from the Codex Bezae manuscript, missing from our modern Bibles. It says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's one of the first steps for the Gentiles. Is there a reason that's not in our Bible? Do unto others. Do whatsoever. Yep. Whatsoever you would have men do to you. Hey, look, DuckDuckGo knows the verse. So Matthew 7:12, therefore all things whatsoever you would that men should do to you, do you even so to them, for this is the law and the prophets. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. He who doesn't do evil to his friend, nor cast slurs against his fellow man. So see, slander with his tongue is not necessary here, because this tells you not to slander with your tongue right here. So that looks more than likely like it was added. Nor cast slurs against his fellow man, in whose eyes a vile man is despised, but who honors those who fear Yahuwah. He who keeps an oath even when it hurts and doesn't change. He who doesn't lend out his money for usury. You're not supposed to charge interest. That's in the law. Nor take a bribe against the innocent. He who does these things shall never be shaken. Be shaken. You know what? Where's that at? Yeah, that's interesting. Proverbs 12:3, a man shall not be established by wickedness, but the root of the righteous shall not be moved, not be shaken. So verse 5, never be moved. All right, moving on to the next one. Chapter 16. A poem by David. Preserve me, Yahuwah, for I take refuge in you. I said to Yahuwah, thou art my Lord, my master, for thou hast no need of my goodness. See? On behalf of the saints that are in his hand, he has magnified all his pleasure in them. Their weaknesses have been multiplied. Afterwards they hasted. I will by no means assemble their bloody meetings, neither will I make mention of their names with my lips. So it's talking about the saints here. And then neither will I make mention of their name. That sounds like other gods. Neither will I make mention of their names with my lips. But then he's talking about the saints. But then bloody meetings. The saints wouldn't mention other gods and have bloody meetings. Yahuwah is the portion of mine inheritance, and of my cup thou art he that restores my inheritance to me. And that is missing from the Dead Sea Scrolls. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. By the hallowed things in this land of his, he had marvelously displayed all his designs. Their infirmities were multiplied after these hallowed things. They hastened after his hallowed things. I will no more assemble their congregations for blood, nor make mention of their names with my lips. Now, it doesn't say gods, it says names in the Thompson. I don't say the gods here either. Neither I will make mention of their names with my lips. Yahuwah is the portion of mine inheritance, and of my cup thou art he who restoreth me mine inheritance. The lines have fallen to me in pleasant places. Yes, I have a good inheritance. I will bless Yahuwah who has given me counsel. Yes, my heart instructs me in the night seasons. I have set Yahuwah always before me, because he is my right hand. At my right hand I shall not be moved. Therefore my heart is glad, and my tongue rejoices. My body shall also dwell in safety. For you will not leave my soul in Sheol, neither will you allow your Holy One to see corruption. That's Messiah. He's the first fruit, and then we're after. 10. Thou hast made known to me the ways of life. Thou wilt fill me with joy with thy countenance. At thy right hand there are delights forever. So, could be my understanding on it. I don't claim to know everything. Psalm 17, a prayer by David. Hear, Yahuwah, my righteous plea. Give ear to my prayer that doesn't go out of deceitful lips. There's deceitful lips again. Let's see here. Okay, we got a lot more there. Verse 1. And the Brenton Septuagint is one chapter behind. Let my judgment come forth from thy presence. Let mine eyes behold righteousness, his righteousness. Thou hast proved mine heart. Thou hast visited me by night. So we're going to 5. Thou hast tried me with fire, and unrighteousness has not been found in me. Thou hast tried me with fire. First Corinthians 3:13, every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire, and the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. If any man's work abide which he hath built thereupon, he shall receive a reward. If any man's work shall be burned, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire. Know ye not that you are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of Yahuwah dwelleth in you? And unrighteousness has not been found in me. I am purposed that my mouth shall not speak amiss. There you go. There's another one. As for the works of men, by the words of thy lips, I have guarded myself from hard ways. I have observed hard ways, literally. Hard ways. The way is narrow. The easy road's wide and leads to destruction. The hard road is narrow and leads to life. I have observed hard ways. That's what that should be translated right there. I've guarded myself from hard ways. No, I have observed hard ways. See that they'll translate based on what they understand sometimes, and it's not always 100% correct. See, the Thompson Septuagint, that my mouth might not speak the works of these men, I, because of the words of thy lips, kept rugged ways. See, he said, I kept rugged ways, established my footsteps in thy paths, that my footsteps may not be moved. That's why line upon line, here a little, there a little, so that we compare translations, compare scriptures, then you get a full understanding. And Yahuwah gives it. We don't get it of our own. Narrow. If he doesn't give us understanding, we don't have it. Period. Matthew 7:14, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way, which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Why few? Because it's hard. It's rugged, rough, not easy. Direct my steps in thy paths, that my steps slip not. My steps have held fast to your paths. My feet have not slipped. I have called on you, for you will answer me, Yahuwah. Turn your ear to me, hear my speech. Show your marvelous loving kindness, you who save those who take refuge by your right hand from their enemies. Keep me as the apple of your eye. Hide me under the shadow of your wings. Psalm 91. From the wicked who oppress me, my deadly enemies who surround me. They close up their callous hearts. With their mouth they speak proudly. They have banished me. They have now surrounded us. A lot of people do that now. You start speaking truth, they banish you from the church. You speak truth, they banish you from their group. They set their eyes to cast us down to the earth. He is like a lion that is greedy of his prey, as it were a young lion lurking in secret places. Arise, Yahuwah, confront him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked by your sword. Let's see. From men by your hand, Yahuwah, from men of the world, whose portion is in this life. You fill the belly of your cherished ones. Your sons have plenty. and they store up wealth for their children. Men of the world, 14. As for me, I shall see your face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake with seeing your form. Where's it at? So 15. Septuagint, I shall appear in righteousness before thy face. So let's see here. Next chapter. Psalm 18, for the chief musician, by David, the servant of Yahuwah, who spoke to Yahuwah the words of this song, and in the day that Yahuwah delivered him from the hand of all his enemies and from the hand of Saul. He said, I love you, Yahuwah, my strength. Yahuwah is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer, my Elohim, my rock in whom I take refuge. My Elohim, my rock. First Corinthians 10:4, and did all drink the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Messiah Yahusha. My God, Messiah Yahusha, my rock in whom I take refuge, my shield and the horn of my salvation, my high tower. I call on Yahuwah, who is worthy to be praised, and I am saved from my enemies. The cords of death surrounded me. The floods of ungodliness made me afraid. The cords of Sheol were around me. The snares of death came on me. In my distress, I called on Yahuwah and cried to my Elohim. He heard my voice out of his temple. My cry before him came into his ears. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations also of the mountains quaked and were shaken because he was angry. Smoke went out of his nostrils. Consuming fire came out of his mouth. Coals were kindled by it. He bowed the heavens also and came down. Thick darkness was under his feet. He rode on a cherub and flew. Yes, he soared on the wings of the wind. He made darkness his hiding place, his pavilion around him. Darkness of waters, thick clouds of the skies. At the brightness before him, his thick clouds passed, hailstones and coals of fire. Yahuwah also thundered in the sky. The Most High uttered his voice, hailstones and coals of fire. So darkness around his feet. Yep, darkness under his feet. 2 Samuel 22:10. Darkness under his feet. That's exact. Psalm 18, 2 Samuel. Where's it at? Yeah. Yep. So Isaiah 62, behold, darkness shall cover the earth and gross darkness the people, but Yahuwah shall rise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. The darkness at his feet, right? Hailstones and coals of fire. Reminds me of Revelation. That's Messiah coming. Hailstones. Ezekiel 13, great hailstones in my fury to consume it. Stormy wind. Shower in mine anger. Ezekiel 13. Oh, great hailstones shall fall. Isaiah 30, hailstones. Ezekiel 38, great hailstones, fire and brimstone. That's Gog and Magog there, Ezekiel 38 and Joshua 10. Yep. That's a foreshadow of what's going to happen again when we're going into the promised land. Died with great hailstones, from what I understand. Oh, let's see. So 14 is missing. Where's 14 at? He sent out his arrows and scattered them. Yes, great lightning bolts and routed them. Who's his arrows? Right? So he sent out arrows. Ephraim's his arrows. It's amazing, the connections in Scripture. You could do this all day long. Let's see. Ephraim, sharp arrows. Yeah, sharp arrows of the mighty. Ben Judah, his bow. If I can find the verse I'm looking for here. Judah, bow, Ephraim, arrows. Unless I have it backwards. Good possibility. Zechariah 9:13. There it is. When I bent Judah for me, now you bend your bow, filled the bow with Ephraim, and raised up thy sons, O Zion, against thy sons, O Greece, and made thee as the sword of a mighty man. See, and Yahuwah shall be seen over them, and his arrow shall go forth as the lightning, and Yahuwah shall blow the trumpet. And what's that? First day of the 7th month. The day of trumpets shall go with the whirlwinds of the south. And the day of trumpets, day of atonement, the Jubilee year lands on the day of the atonement. Feast of Tabernacles, we tabernacle with the Messiah. The Lord Yahuwah of hosts shall defend them, and they shall devour and subdue with sling stones, and they shall drink and make a noise as through wine, and they shall be filled like bowls, and as the corners of the altar, and Yahuwah their Elohim shall save them in that day as the flock of his people, for they shall be as the stones of a crown, lifted up as an ensign upon his land. Hallelujah. And it's part of his plan. It's nothing we did, it's him. See, when the dispersion is ended, they shall know all these things. Daniel chapter 12. And he's talking about the end. See, Daniel closed the words and sealed the book until the time of the end, till many are taught and knowledge is increased. What knowledge? What are we being taught? We're being taught Yahuwah's ways. We're being taught his law. So then the channels of waters appeared, the foundations of the world were laid bare at your rebuke. Yahuwah, at the blast of the breath of your nostrils, he sent from on high. He took me, he drew me out of many waters. He delivered me from my strong enemy, from those who hated me, for they were too mighty for me. 17 to 18. They came on me in the day of my calamity, but Yahuwah was my support. He brought me out also into a large place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. Yahuwah has rewarded me according to my righteousness. According to the cleanness of my hands, he has recompensed me. So there's stuff that we have to do. For I have kept the ways of Yahuwah. We got to keep his ways, not our own filthy rags. And have not wickedly departed from my Elohim. For all his ordinances were before me. I didn't put away his statutes from me. I was also blameless with him. I kept myself from lawlessness. Blameless. See, he was blameless with him, right? Church teaches nobody's right. Nobody can do righteousness. Nobody's blameless when, we can't do nothing. Well, David said he was blameless. 1 Timothy 5:7, these things give in charge that they may be blameless. Okay, you're supposed to be blameless. There's New Testament. If any be blameless, Titus. Joshua, we will be blameless. A bishop must be blameless. There you go. 1 Timothy. So, be found blameless. Who shall confirm you unto the end, that you may be blameless in the day of Yahusha. 1 Corinthians 1:8. Concerning zeal, persecuting the touching the righteousness with it, which is in the law, blameless. Right? So how was he blameless? Touching the righteousness in the law. 2 Peter 3:14, wherefore, beloved, seeing that you look for such things, be diligent that you may be found of him in peace, without spot, and blameless. Luke 1:6, and they were both righteous before Yahuwah, walking in all the commandments and ordinances of Yahuwah, blameless. Okay. Philippians 2:15, that you may be blameless and harmless, the sons of God, without rebuke, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom you shine as lights in the world. Right? 1 Thessalonians 5:23, and the very Elohim of peace sanctify you wholly, and I pray Yahuwah, your whole spirit and soul and body be preserved blameless unto the coming of Yahusha, Messiah. Therefore, Yahuwah has rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands in his eyesight, right? In his eyes. With the merciful, you show yourself merciful. With the perfect man, you show yourself perfect. When you're reading his word, the different understandings we have is based on how far we've progressed. With the pure, you show yourself pure. With the crooked, you show yourself shrewd. So when the crooked reads his book, his scriptures, they don't get it. When the pure reads them, he sees it pure. When the perfect man reads them, he sees the perfect. When the merciful reads it, he sees the merciful. For you will save the afflicted people, but the arrogant eyes you will bring down. For you will light my lamp, Yahuwah. You will light up my darkness. Wise virgins. Matthew 25. So here we go. Zoom in. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom, Messiah. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. At midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. Then all the virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you, but go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Proverbs 6:23, for the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instructions are the way of life. Exodus 27:20, thou shalt command the children of Israel that they bring thee pure olive oil, beaten for the light, to cause the lamp to burn always. For by you I advance through a troop, and by my Elohim I leap over a wall. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. By my Elohim I leap over a wall. As for Yahuwah, it's one of the testaments of the patriarchs, I think. As for my Elohim, his way is perfect. Yahuwah's word is tried. He is a shield to all those who take refuge in him. For who is Yahuwah, who is Elohim except Yahuwah, who is a rock besides our Elohim, Messiah, the Elohim who arms me with strength and makes my way perfect. He makes my feet like deer's feet and sets me on my high places. He teaches my hands to war so that my arms bend a bow of bronze. You have also given me the shield of your salvation. Your right hand sustains me. Your gentleness has made me great. Oh, gentleness. 35. Stress man. Army. Mm-hmm. 36. Your gentleness made me great. 36. I'll say, you've given me a shield of your salvation. This made me secure in my salvation. Thy right hand has helped me, and thy correction has upheld me to the end. Yea, thy correction itself shall instruct me. Thou hast made room for my goings under me, and my footsteps did not fail. I'll pursue mine enemies and overtake them. I won't turn away until they are consumed. I will strike them through so that they will not be able to rise. They shall fall under my feet, for you have armed me with strength to the battle. You have subdued under me those who rose up against me. You have also made my enemies turn their backs to me, that I might cut off those who hate me. They cried, but there was no one to save, even to Yahuwah, but he didn't answer them. Then I beat them small as the dust before the wind. I cast them out as the mire in the streets. The mire in the streets. That's all kinds of end times here. All kinds. And why is he revealing the end times in the scriptures to us? Because it's the end. Let's see. Where's it at? Cast out as dung. It's in Jeremiah somewhere. All right, come on now. Done. Good thing I got a search option. Jeremiah 25:33. Yep, that's what it is. Let's see, Jeremiah 25. To verse 14. 32 ends it. Septuagint's different. 25 verse 14 to 32. See what it says. The word that came to Yirmiyahu concerning all the people of Judah in the 4th year of Joachim, son of Josias, king of Yehudah, which he spoke to all the people of Yehudah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, saying, in the 13th year of Josias, son of Amos, king of Yehudah, even unto this day, for 20 years. See, serve as a prophet. Turn ye everyone from his evil way and from your evil practices, and you shall dwell in the land which I gave to you and your fathers of old and forever. He give it forever. Donation round about it. Yep. Yep. See, they Judah and Benjamin, Gentiles, 70 years. See, the voice of the bride, the voice of the bridegroom. That a lot of people will make this verse apply to now, but this is already happened. He destroyed. I will destroy from amongst them the voice of joy, the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom, the voice of the bride, the scent of ointment, the light of a candle, and all the land shall be a desolation. They shall serve among the Gentiles 70 years. See, all right, so 14. Right, so it switches over in the Septuagint, verse 32. It's not combined. Thus saith Yahuwah Elohim of Israel, take the cup of unmixed wine from mine hand, and thou shalt cause all the nations to drink, to whom I send thee. They shall drink and vomit and be mad because of the sword which I send among them. Take peace from the earth. Sends the sword. So I take the cup out of Yahuwah's hand and cause the nations to whom Yahuwah sent me to drink, Jerusalem and the cities of Yehuda and the kings of Yehuda and his princes, to make them a desert place, a desolation and a hissing. That happened. And Pharaoh, king of Egypt, his servants, his nobles, and all his people, and all the mingled people, the kings of the Philistines, Ashkelon and Gaza, and Acharon, the remnant of Azotus, and Idumea, and the land of Moab, and the children of Ammon, and the kings of Tyre, and the kings of Sidon, the kings in the country beyond the sea, and Dedan, and Thaman, and Ros, and everyone that is shaved round about the face. What do the nations do? Shave that beard off. And all the mingled people lodging in the wilderness, and all the kings of Elam, and all the kings of the Persians, and all the kings of the north, far and the near, each one with his brother, and all the kingdoms which are on the face of the earth. And thou shalt say to them, thus saith Yahuwah Almighty, drink you, be ye drunken, and you shall vomit, and shall fall, and shall in no wise rise, because the sword which is sent among you. And it shall come to pass, when they refuse to take the cup out of thine hand to drink it, that thou shalt say, thus saith Yahuwah, you shall surely drink, for I am beginning to afflict the city whereon my name is called. You shall by no means be held guiltless, for I am calling a sword upon all that dwell upon the earth. Thou shalt prophesy against them these words, and thou shalt say, Yahuwah shall speak from on high, from his sanctuary he will utter his voice, he will pronounce a declaration on his place, and these shall answer like men gathering grapes, and destruction is coming on them that dwell on the earth, even upon the extreme part of the earth, for Yahuwah has a controversy with the nations, he is pleading with all flesh, and the ungodly are given to the sword, saith Yahuwah. Pleading with all flesh, Isaiah 66. Let's see here. Or 65, 66, 65. Oh yeah. See, for behold, Yahuwah is come will come with fire, his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury. We've seen that earlier, rebukes with the flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will Yahuwah plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahuwah shall be many. That's the end. Jeremiah 32. Thus, in the Septuagint, thus saith Yahuwah, behold, evils are proceeding from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind goes forth from the end of the earth. And the slain of Yahuwah shall be in that day from one end of the earth even to the other end of the earth. They shall not be buried. They shall be as dung on the face of the earth. And my Thompson Septuagint from 1960, it's got a footnote in Jeremiah 25, I think. It says the rabbinical scribes switched the Septuagint to match the Masoretic text. Why would people allow rabbinical scribes to touch their scriptures? Crazy. How you shepherds, and cry and lament, you rams of the flock, for your days have been completed for slaughter, and you shall fall as the choice rams, and flight shall perish from the shepherds, and safety from the rams of the flock, a voice of the crying of the shepherds, and a moaning of the sheep and the rams, for Yahuwah has destroyed their pastures. And the peaceable abodes that remain shall be destroyed before the fierceness of my anger. He has forsaken his lair as a lion, for their land has become desolate before the great sword. Great sword. End time stuff. 42. So 42, let's see. I cast them out as mire in the streets. I will grind them as mud in the streets. I will beat them small as dust before the wind. Deliver me from the gainsayings of the people. Thou shalt make me head of the Gentiles. A people whom I knew not served me. At the hearing of the ear they obeyed me. The strange children lied to me, or feigned obedience. The strange children waxed old and fell away from their past through lameness. Yahuwah lives, and blessed be my Elohim, and let the Elohim of my salvation be exalted. It is Yahuwah that avenges me and has subdued the nations under me. My deliverer was from angry enemies. Thou shalt set me on high above them that raise against me. Thou shalt deliver me from the unrighteous man. Therefore I will confess to thee, O Yahuwah, among the Gentiles, and sing to thy name a new song. Yahuwah magnifies the deliverances of his king, and deals mercifully with David his anointed, and his seed forever. David prophesies all through here. All through here. So 18 in the Brenton Septuagint. Let's see, we got, I think that's all we got there. 41. Yep. All right, so 19 Dead Sea Scrolls. Psalm 19, or 18 in this Brenton. For the end, a psalm of David. The heavens declare the glory of Yahuwah, and the firmament proclaims the works of his hands. Day to day utters speech, and night to night proclaims knowledge. Let's see. Yeah, this is interesting here. The NASA man, Werner Braun, yeah, on his tombstone here, he's got Psalm 19:1. NASA, not a space agency. The heavens declare the glory of Yahuwah, and the firmament proclaims the works of his hands. You can't go to space. There's a firmament. You can't go to heaven. There are no speeches or words in which their voices are not heard. So there's no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their voice has gone out through all the earth, their words to the end of the world. In them he has set a tent for the sun. He set a tent, and the sun's in the firmament. 5. Let's see. The sun, he said, is tabernacle. That sounds different. Bridegroom. Sun, he placed his tabernacle. He placed his tabernacle in the sun. That makes no sense at all. None. Psalm 19. See the sun in them. Okay, so their line is going out through all the earth, and their words in the world. In them. Yep, the heavens, and in them, the firmament, the heavens, hath he set a tabernacle for the sun. The KJV makes sense. In the sun, he has set a tabernacle. Wrong. In the sun, he placed his tabernacle. Nope, wrong. Dead Sea Scrolls. In them, the firmament and the heavens, he has set a tent for the sun. KJV wins on that one. He comes forth as a bridegroom out of his chamber. He will exalt as a giant to run his course. Let's see. Yeah, Summit, of course, set as a giant. And KJV has a strong man. His going out is from the end of the heavens, his circuit to its ends. There's nothing hidden from its heat, the sun. So his going out is from the end of the heavens, his circuit, his course to its ends. Yahuwah's laws, not law, laws are perfect, restoring the soul. Yahuwah's covenant is sure, making wise the simple. See, it's got law. It's got Septuagint's law. Law, right? Dead Sea Scrolls, plural. His laws. He has laws. He don't just have a law. The ordinances of Yahuwah are right, rejoicing in the heart. The commandment of Yahuwah is bright, enlightening the eyes. The fear of Yahuwah is pure, enduring forever and ever. The judgments of Yahuwah are true and justified altogether. To be desired more than gold and much precious stone, sweeter also than honey in the honeycomb. That's when it's sweet in your mouth and bitter in your belly. For thy servant keeps to them. In the keeping of them there is great reward. Who will understand his transgressions? Purge thou me from my secret sins, and spare thy servant the attack of strangers. If they do not gain the dominion over me, then shall I be blameless, and I shall be clear from the great sin. So shall the sayings of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing continually before thee, O my Yahuwah, my helper and my redeemer. So we're missing the Dead Sea Scrolls all the way up to 22. All right, we're going to have to wing it. Next chapter, 20. So for the end, Psalm of David. Yahuwah, hear thee in the day of trouble. The name of Yahuwah of Elohim defend thee. Yahuwah, Elohim of Jacob, defend thee. Send thee help from the sanctuary, and aid thee out of Zion, New Jerusalem, and from his sanctuary. And then people say that there's no temple. He's got a temple in heaven, and he's got New Jerusalem in heaven. So there's going to be a temple. Remember all thy sacrifice, and enrich thy whole burnt offering. Pause, grant thee according to thy heart, and fulfill all thy desire. We will exult in thy salvation, and in the name of our Elohim shall we be magnified. Yahuwah, fulfill all thy petitions. Now I know that Yahuwah has saved his Messiah. He shall hear him from his holy heaven. The salvation of his right hand is mighty. Some glory in chariots and some in horses, but we will glory in the name of Yahuwah our Elohim. They are overthrown and fallen, but we are risen and have been set upright. O Yahuwah, save the King, King Messiah, and hear us in whatever day we call upon thee. Who's our King? He's not of this earth. He's our Messiah. Where's our kingdom? It's not of this earth. It's a country to come. So Hebrews 11:16, but now they desire a better country, that is in heavenly. Wherefore Yahuwah is not ashamed to be called their Elohim, for he hath prepared for them a city. I love this verse. Revelation 21:2, and I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from Yahuwah out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Let's see here. So Psalm 20 Septuagint, that'll be 21 in our regular translations. For the end, a Psalm of David. O Yahuwah, the king shall rejoice in thy strength, and in thy salvation he shall greatly exult. Thou hast granted him the desire of his soul, and hast not withheld from him the request of his lips. Pause, for thou hast prevented him with blessings of goodness. Thou hast set upon his head a crown of precious stone. He asked life of thee, and thou gavest him length of days forever and ever. His glory is great in thy salvation. Thou wilt crown him with glory and majesty, for thou wilt give him a blessing forever and ever. Thou wilt gladden him with joy with thy countenance. For the king trusts in Yahuwah, and through the mercy of the highest he shall not be moved. Let thy hand be found by all thine enemies. Let thy right hand find all that hate thee. Thou shalt make them as a fiery oven at the time of thy presence. Yahuwah shall trouble them in his anger, and a fire shall devour them. Thou shalt destroy their fruit from the earth, and their seed from among the sons of men. Second Ezra says that the law is like unto fire. Let's see. I found a cool new thing the other day. If you go here, you go to search, law, fire. Okay. You go over here, you go to modify search, and you go over here and go limit search to Apocrypha. And so law, fire. Yep. Thy glory went through 4 gates of fire and of earthquake, of wind, of cold. That's 2 Ezra 3:19. These were included in the 1611 KJV and just taken out in the late 1800s. These were part of scripture for years, thousands of years. Thou mayest give a law in the seed of Jacob and diligence unto the generation of Israel. Not all of these are scripture, though. Maccabees is proven to be false, and Judith is also. I'm not going to get into that though. So we go to fire, law like unto fire. Law, mouth. Try that. Well, it's in there. This might be better here. Law, mouth, fire. Second Esdras. $13. There we go. Second Esdras 13:10, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath. Out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. Where's the law? Fire. It's in there somewhere. Anyways. So, Yahuwah shall trouble them in his anger, and fire shall devour them. Thou shalt destroy their fruit from the earth, and their seed from among the sons of men. For they intended evils against thee. They imagined a device which they shall by no means be able to perform. For thou shalt make them turn their back in thy latter end. Latter end. Jeremiah 23. Thou wilt prepare their face. That's Deuteronomy 2. Be thou exalted, O Yahuwah, in thy strength. We will sing and praise thy mighty acts. Happy Sabbath. To go back and watch first. Happy Sabbath, Rosie. Yeah. Wish I'd had that a long time ago. Good search. Psalm 21, this is Brenton Septuagint. In the regular translations, this is Psalm 22. And I'll probably end on this one. For the end concerning the morning aid, a psalm of David. O Yahuwah, my Elohim, attend to me. Why hast thou forsaken me? And he's got a footnote here is Matthew 27:46. The account of my transgressions is far from my salvation. Why would that be there? Well, Messiah says, why hast thou forsaken me? But Messiah didn't have transgressions. He was sinless. O my Elohim, I will cry to thee by day, but thou wilt not hear, and by night it shall not be accounted for folly to me. This seems like for the saints. This is for the Messiah is the first fruit. We have transgressions. But thou, the praise of Israel, dwellest in a sanctuary. The praise of Israel, that's Messiah. He dwells in the heavenly sanctuary. Our fathers hoped in thee. They hoped, and thou didst deliver them. And let's see. Let's see. Maketh intercession. It's in Hebrews. Hebrews 7. He ever liveth to make the intercession for them. They cried to thee and were saved. They hoped in thee and were not ashamed. But I am a worm and not a man, a reproach of men and a scorn of the people. All that saw mocked me. Now that was Messiah. They spoke with their lips. They shook their heads, saying, he hoped in Yahuwah. Let him deliver him. Let him save him, because he takes pleasure in him. For thou art he that drew me out of the womb, my hope from my mother's breast. I was cast on thee from the womb. Thou art my Elohim from my mother's belly. Stand not aloof from me, for my affliction is near, for there is no helper. Many bullets have compassed me. Fat bulls have beset me around. They have opened their mouth against me as a ravening and roaring lion. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are loosened. Anytime I see these references here, lion, bulls, or bullocks, I think of the Enoch animal dream vision where the peoples are represented by animals. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are loosened. My heart in the midst of my belly has become like melting wax. And they had Enoch, so they would have known all about that. My strength is dried up like a potsherd, and my tongue is glued to my throat. And thou hast brought me down to the dust of death. For many dogs, I believe in Enoch, that's Philistines, have compassed me. The assembly of wicked doers has beset me round. They pierced my hands and my feet. Messiah. They counted all my bones, and they observed and looked upon me. They parted my garments among themselves, and cast lots upon my raiment. But thou, O Yahuwah, remove not my help afar off. Be ready for mine aid. Deliver my soul from the sword, my only begotten one from the power of the dog. There it is again. Only begotten one, Messiah. Save me from the lion's mouth, lions, and regard my lowliness from the horns of the unicorns, or ox. I will declare thy name to my brethren. In the midst of the church will I sing praise to thee. Midst of the congregation. Ecclesia. Ye that fear Yahuwah, praise him. All ye seed of Jacob, glorify him. Let all the seed of Israel fear him. Seed of Israel. For he has not despised, nor been angry at the supplication of the poor, nor turned away his face from me. But when I cried to him, he heard me. My praise is of thee in the great congregation. I will pay my vows before them that fear him. The poor shall eat and be satisfied, and they shall praise Yahuwah that seek him. Their hearts shall live forever. All the ends of the earth shall remember and turn to Yahuwah, and all the kindreds of the nations shall worship before him. For the kingdom is Yahuwah's, and he is the governor of the nations. All the fat ones of the earth have eaten and worshipped. All that go down to the earth shall fall down before him. My soul also lives to him, and my seed shall serve him. The generation that is coming shall be reported to Yahuwah, and they shall report his righteousness to the people that shall be born, whom Yahuwah has made. Shall fall down before him. Right? There's a lot in there. Every knee will bow. Romans 14. For it is written, as I live, saith Yahuwah, every knee shall bow to me, and every tongue shall confess to Yahuwah. Every knee shall bow. Isaiah 47. Every tongue shall confess or swear. Let's see, 21. Okay, so we do have 22 here. They open their mouths wide against me, lions tearing prey and roaring. I am poured out like water. All my bones are out of joint. My heart is like wax. It is melted within me. My strength is dried up like a potsherd. My tongue does not stick to the roof of my mouth, is not in the Dead Sea Scrolls. My tongue melts in my mouth. You have brought me into the dust of death, for dogs have surrounded me. A company of evil doers have enclosed me. They have pierced my hands and my feet, my hands and feet. Yep. Don't be far off, Yahuwah. One other thing. I'll go to check out Enoch right quick. Enoch. This is the book of Enoch, quoted all through the scriptures, found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, kept by the Levites, kept by the Ethiopian church, quoted by the early church fathers. Enoch is scripture. They keep trying to get rid of it. It keeps coming back. There's a reason they keep trying to get rid of it. It's written to the last generation. So if you go to, see right here. The sheep are his people, Israel. This is Enoch 90 in the R.H. Charles translation. You see that I saw until those sheep were devoured by the dogs and eagles and kites. The eagles roam. See? So you'll see, if you go through that, you'll see the different nations are represented by animals. So, yep. So we'll leave it there. That's going to be Psalm 22. Got through a few of them. And all good. All right. Hope that was a blessing and helpful to y'all. And